Chapter 1 of Gabriel and the Hour Book. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Gabriel and the Hour Book by Evaleen Stein. Chapter 1 The Little Color Grinder. It was a bright morning of early April many hundred years ago, and through all the fields and meadows of Normandy the violets and cuckoo buds were just beginning to peep through the tender green of the young grass. The rows of tall poplar trees that everywhere, instead of fences, served to mark off the farms of the country folk, waved in the spring wind like great pale green plumes, and among their branches the earliest robins and fieldfares were gaily singing as a little boy stepped out from a small thatched cottage standing among the fields, and took his way along the high road. That Gabriel Viaud was a peasant lad any one could have told from the blouse of blue homespun and the wooden shoes which he wore, and that he felt gladness of the April time could easily be known by the happy little song he began to sing to himself, and by the eager delight with which he now and then stooped to pluck a blue violet or to gather a handful of golden cuckoo buds. A mile or two behind him, and hidden by a bend in the road, lay the little village of St. Martin du Bouchage, which in the soft blue distance ahead of him rose the grey walls of the St. Martin's Abbey, whither he was going. Indeed, for almost a year now, the little boy had been trudging every day to the Abbey, where he earned a small sum by waiting upon the good brothers who dwelt there, and who made the beautiful painted books for which the Abbey had become famous. Gabriel could grind and mix their colours for them, and prepare the parchment on which they did their writing, and do so many other little things that helped them in their work. The lad enjoyed his tasks at the Abbey, and above all, delighted in seeing the beautiful things at which the brothers were always busy. Yet, as he now drew near the gateway, he could not help but give a little sigh, for it was so bright and sunny out of doors. He smiled, though, as he looked at the gay bunches of blossoms with which he had quite filled his hands, and felt that at least he was taking a bit of the April in with him, as he crossed the threshold and entered a large room. "Good morrow, Gabriel," called out several voices as he came in, for the lad was a general favourite with the brothers, and Gabriel, respectfully taking off his blue peasant cap, gave a pleasant "good morrow" to each. The room in which he stood had plain stone walls, and a floor of paved stone, and little furniture, except a number of solidly made benches and tables. These were placed beneath a row of high windows, and the tables were covered with writing and painting materials and pieces of parchment, for the brotherhood of St. Martin's was very industrious. In those days, it was 400 years ago, printed books were very few, and almost unknown to most people, for printing presses had been invented only a few years, and so by far the greater number of books in the world were still made by the patient labour of skilful hands, the work usually being done by the monks, of whom there were very many at that time. These monks, or brothers as they were often called, lived in monasteries and abbeys, and were men who banded themselves together in brotherhoods, taking solemn vows never to have homes of their own or to mingle in the daily life of others, but to devote their lives to religion, for they believed that they could serve God better by thus shutting themselves off from the world. And so it came about that the brothers, having more time and more learning than most other people of those days, made it their chief work to preserve and multiply all the books that were worth keeping. These they wrote out on parchment, for paper was very scarce so long ago, and then ornamented the pages with such beautiful painted borders of flowers and birds and saints and angels, and such lovely initial letters, all in bright colours and gold, that to this day large numbers of beautiful books made by the monks are still kept among the choicest treasures of museums and great libraries of the world. And few of all of those wonderful old illuminations, for so the painted ornaments were called, were lovelier than the work of the brotherhood of St. Martin's. Gabriel felt very proud even to grind the colours for them, but as he
Sample complete. Ready to continue?